I hope you had a very joyous Easter Sunday and, more importantly, a very blessed Easter to you. So welcome back to our parish evangelization cell meetings. On Good Friday, I shared a meditation on the letter to the Hebrews, which was based on Hebrew chapter 4, verses 14 to 16. I'm not going to read out this meditation, but this is more addressed to you and to me as we are now preparing for Pentecost Sunday. As I have said on numerous occasions, the Church gives us 3 months of preparation, Lent and Eastertide, and 9 months of mission. So let us gear ourselves up to Pentecost, and we allow more the Spirit to work through us. But how can the Spirit work through us? And I think the response is given to us by that passage which we read on Good Friday. And I'm going to quote the 2 appeals. They are 2 exhortations. And the first exhortation is this: we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, which means who is here and now in the presence of God the Father, interceding for you and for me. And who is this intercessor? The author to the letter to the Hebrews makes it abundantly clear. Jesus, the Son of God. So if he is our intercessor, what should we do? Therefore, let us hold fast our confession, which means let us tenaciously cling tenaciously and unswervingly to the fact that Jesus is unique, that his salvation is unique, not just unique, but effective and efficacious. So that's the first exhortation, the first appeal, the first invitation. The second invitation is based on the first one. And the author to the letter to the Hebrews continues. He explains this high priest. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in every way, in quite the same way as we are, only without the result of sin. Don't you think that this gives us confidence and boldness? Personally, I've chosen these texts in the light of our year of faith, which is a year when hope, Christian assurance and realism is being highlighted. We are pilgrims of hope. And also, as a result of our Archbishop's launch of his initiative hope in the Eucharist. So this, for me, these verses for me, very much impel me to cling more to the Lord and also to my profession of faith, that Jesus is indeed unique, a unique mediator, but not just mediation, his salvation is also effective. And the author to the Hebrews continues, let us therefore approach the throne of grace with confidence, with bold frankness, that we may receive. What can we receive? Mercy and obtain grace to help at the right time when we are in need of help. Why do I like this passage? I like it because it's very pastoral. The author to the Hebrews is using the word we. There's nothing to do with the royal we. And we are included, his readers are included, but we are included in this text because we, as the people of God, we have indeed a great high priest. Let us unpack more the first appeal. I'm referring to verse 14. The basis of this first invitation is the high priest that we have. Now, when we use the word high, stands for great. And it's quite synonymous. This great priest is synonymous in the Old Testament, the Greek version of the Old Testament, as great priest. And there is here a comparison between Christ as the high priest and the high priest of the Old Testament. What a huge difference between the two. One would have gone into the most important part of the sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, and he would have gone once a year on the most important feast in the Jewish, one of the most important feasts in the Jewish calendar, the Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And he would have gone there to intercede for the people. And he would have gone in the presence of something representing God, the Ark of the Covenant. Now, that's the high priest in the Old Testament. Now, what about our high priest, Jesus Christ? He is here and now interceding for us in the presence, not of a representative of God, in the case of the Old Testament, the Ark of the Covenant, but he is substantially, really, truly in the presence of God the Father. So there is indeed a chasm between the high priest in the Old Testament and Christ as the great high priest. Let us also say something about the qualities of this high priest. We said that we have a sympathetic high priest, and the word sympathy in its Greek meaning and significance is not similar to the English word to sympathize. So the word sympathy, a sympathetic, is someone who is actively concerned about us. And one of the epithets of Jesus' high priesthood is mercy. So when we say sympathetic, is synonymous with mercy. Someone who wants to get involved in our life. It's what we have here at Holy Innocents. The good neighbors to all. We are sympathetic with people who have got needs, but sympathetic, not just showing feelings of compassion, but getting involved in their lives by taking on our shoulders their problems and their challenges. However, the author of the letter to the Hebrews is very hyper vigilant to say that this solidarity of Christ with us, with humanity, does not include sin. The difference between Christ and humanity and us is Christ had been tempted throughout his entire life. But what is the difference? The difference is that he never succumbed to temptation, but in our respect, with regard to ourselves, once we tempted and we yield to succumb to temptations at times. So what we have got is here someone who is sinless. And we might think, and which is a downright misapprehension, that Jesus' sinlessness decreases his identification, solidarity with us. But this is a fallacy. Because, as I always say, every sin is a selfish act that is inimical to solidarity among people. Imagine if Christ was sinful. How could he have possibly been in solidarity with me? He would have been, like me, selfish. The high priest in the Old Testament couldn't have been described as sympathetic. And why is that? Because, like us, was vulnerable to temptation, but not only vulnerable to temptation, but he also was a sinner himself. So, what was his so-called solidarity? Not the exact word, with his own people. He would have put up with them for excuse their sin. Why? Because he was, like them, beset with weakness. What a high priest we have got. And why? And this is one of the reasons that we should abide continually by Christ. Let us move down now to the second appeal. We already said that our high priest is great, sympathetic, and sinless. And if he is like that, we should approach the throne of grace with confidence. What does it mean with confidence? Paresia, which means with boldness. We pray and adore with boldness and frankness. And again, there is a huge difference between the Old and the New Testament. The people, the Israelites, the Old Testament, wouldn't have approached God directly, but they would have approached him through intermediaries and also through their high priest. But we are different. We are not only allowed, but we are exhorted to draw near to this throne, and with bold frankness in prayer and adoration. You and I, whenever we have got a necessity, can go directly to God our Father through his Son. And the reason being, because Jesus has assumed our human condition, and also, equally important, that he is the Son of God. So if he is the Son of God, he has got authority to intercede for you and for me. And he can intercede for you and for me because he has assumed human condition. This is the linchpin of Christ being a mediator between God and humanity. And not only that, he is ready to help us at the right time, which means his help comes just at the right moment. This throne of mercy and grace portrays the blessings we receive when we are in God's presence through Jesus as the merciful and faithful high priest. How awesome. Why should not approach him more often? Approach him not just when I've got needs, but approach him frequently. Is not just passive acceptance on the side of God, but it's the new reality realized by Jesus' self-sacrifice, freely available to us, mediated by his Spirit, and embodied in the sacraments. The sacramental life, all the 7 sacraments, but more importantly is the real and substantial presence of Christ in the Eucharist. It's a source, they are a source of God's favor, God's grace, and Christ is still with us, sharing his graces and his favors. I conclude with this, and I hope you'll be discussing these verses in the letter to the Hebrews. It's easy to follow the author's train of thought in these 2 appeals and these 2 exhortations, invitations. Why? Because our great high priest, the one who is the Son of God and has entered into the presence of God, how? By offering himself on our behalf, is also Jesus, the Son of God made flesh, who sympathizes with our weaknesses, and we both can and should approach God with bold frankness, assured of acceptance and help needed to hold firmly the faith we profess. I think the underlying thought of these three verses is this, my dear friends, and perhaps don't be tempted to entertain this thought of other mediators between God and humanity. The only mediator for us and for humanity is Jesus Christ. And I say this with conviction. Jesus Christ surpasses every other mediator. And why? Why? He passes every other mediator. His mediation between God and humanity is unparalleled, unmatched, because first, of his full solidarity with us, and at the same time of his divine sonship. Solidarity with us and his divine sonship. God the Father, when he sent his Son, Jesus Christ, in our human condition, loved us more than his angels. The angels cannot say that the Son of God became like them. But you and I, we can say that the Son of God assumed my human nature, the sinless human nature. So my exhortation, my invitation is the same invitation that the author of the letter to the Hebrews is conveying. It's open to all of us. Let us embrace this great high priest who is worthy of our faith, because he's compassionate, and compassionate to the fact that he understands us, he's in solidarity with us, he is sympathetic, but also he is the Son of God. And this is the theme for us. Let us cling tenaciously to our belief, to our confession, to our profession of faith in the uniqueness and saving effectiveness of Jesus. How? By making use of the grace, of the favor he is ready to provide to you and to me. Enjoy the rest of the Eastertide, and may it be a time of growth for you, empowered and guided by the Spirit. God bless you.